Think of the greatest enemy in your life. Picture the individual who steals your peace of mind, obstructs your progress, and blocks you all the time. How upset are you at them? How much effort do you put into battling them? But what if I told you that the enemy you are fighting is not actually there? What if I told you that the monster you have been swinging your fists at for years is just a reflection of your own mind? Most of us see life as a battlefield. We believe there are lions out there wanting to hunt us. But the real danger is not the claws outside, but the arrogance inside. Today, you will listen to one of the most brilliantly crafted metaphors in history. This is the story of how brute force kneels before intelligence. This is the story of a lion, a rabbit, and a deep well. By the time this story ends, you will not be afraid of what you see when you look in the mirror, because you will know the secret of that reflection. If you are ready, let's go down to that valley. Back in ancient times, there was a valley as beautiful as paradise, with lush green pastures and clear waters. The animals living in this valley, deer, gazelles, rabbits, lived in abundance. However, amidst this paradise lived a hell, a huge, wild, and insatiable lion. Every day, the lion would come out of ambush, attack someone at random, and turn the valley into a bloodbath. Fear had poisoned the air of the valley. No one could enjoy the grass they ate or the water they drank. Finally, the animals gathered and made a compromise plan. They went before the lion and said, "O King of the Valley, do not make us live in fear every day. Let us choose one of us every day and send them to you. Do not trouble yourself with hunting, and we will know whose turn it is, and the rest of us will live in peace." The lion accepted this comfortable offer. His ego was stroked. He would now feed without fatigue. Days passed. Every day, a victim was chosen by lot and sent to the lion. Everyone had submitted to their fate, until the lot fell to a small, clever rabbit with a heart bigger than his body. The rabbit did not cry or whine like the others. "Stop," he said. "Do not send me immediately. Give me some time. I have found a way to end this tyranny." The other animals laughed at him. "You," they said, "will you defeat that giant lion with your tiny size? Accept your fate. Do not put us in danger too." But the rabbit did not listen to them. He set off but deliberately delayed. He dawdled until noon passed and the lion began to roar with hunger. The lion was clawing the ground with the anger of hunger and waiting. "Where is my meal? Did those wretches not keep their promise?" he shouted. His arrogance and anger had blinded him. Just then, the rabbit arrived before the lion, out of breath and covered in dust. He bowed his head as if trembling. The lion roared, "Who are you? Where is my meal? Why are you late?" The rabbit told his cleverly constructed story. "O High King, I am innocent. Early this morning, I was coming to you with another plump rabbit. That plump rabbit was your lunch. But on the way, oh, that terrible thing happened." The lion asked curiously, "What happened? Who can detain my meal?" The rabbit continued, "Another lion appeared on our path, a lion bigger than you, more majestic than you. He blocked our way. He said, 'This valley is mine. I will eat that meal.' I told him, 'We have a master. This meal goes to him.' But he insulted you. He said, 'Who is he? I am the king,' and took my friend away. I barely escaped." Hearing these words, the lion's arrogance burned with a greater flame than his hunger. A rival? Someone challenging him in his own kingdom? "Lead the way," shouted the lion. "Show me that insolent one. I will tear him apart." The rabbit led the lion towards his trap, to the edge of a deep well. As they approached the well, the rabbit pulled back as if afraid. The lion asked, "Why did you stop?" "Move forward," the rabbit said, trembling. "Sir, that other lion lives inside this well, this fortress. I dare not look at his face, but if you take me in your arms, I can look under your protection." Swollen with arrogance, the lion took the rabbit in his claws and looked down into the well. He saw his own reflection on the still surface of the water, but seeing the rabbit beside him, he thought it was the other lion and the stolen rabbit. What he saw in the water was an enemy looking back at him, staring into his eyes with his prey in his arms. The lion did not realize that the reflection in the water was his own face. He mistook his own anger for the enemy's anger. He mistook his own power for the enemy's power, and at that moment, without thinking, he roared and jumped into the well to destroy that enemy. The lion plunged into the dark water to fight his own reflection and never came out again. His own arrogance became his own grave. The rabbit stood by the well, took a deep breath, and returned to the other animals to celebrate the victory he won with his mind, declaring his freedom. This story is not a simple children's tale. This story is the mental map of the modern human. Let's analyze these symbols in the Metaphor Mindset Laboratory. First, the lion. It represents your ego and the illusion of power. The lion is your ego. It is strong, loud, but easily fooled. The ego constantly wants to be fed. It says, respect me, validate me, I am the greatest. What was the lion's greatest weakness in the story? Not his hunger, but his arrogance. When he was told there is another lion, he stopped thinking rationally. Our ego is like this in modern life too. When someone criticizes us, challenges us, we immediately go on the defensive. Logic goes offline. At that moment, we only want to attack. Second, the rabbit. It represents your intellect and strategy. The rabbit is your intellect and wisdom. It may be physically weak, but it is strategically smart. The rabbit did not clash head-on with the lion, the ego. He didn't tell him you are wrong. He played along with him. He used his arrogance. In life, direct conflict does not work when fighting bullies, narcissists, or the negative voices inside you. You need to defeat them with their own energy, their own delusions, like the philosophy of judo. Third, the other lion and the well. This is projection in the mirror. This is the heart of the story. There never was another lion. It was just a reflection. In psychology, this is called projection. The traits you hate in others are actually the traits you suppress within yourself. Are you angry at someone's arrogance? Maybe you can't face your own arrogance. Does someone's laziness drive you crazy? Maybe you are afraid of your own lack of discipline. The lion thought he saw his enemy in the well, yet what he saw was no one but himself. We also think we are fighting people throughout our lives, yet what we are fighting is our own shadow projected onto that person. Fourth, fatalism versus action. At the beginning of the story, the animal said, "Let's accept our fate. Let the lion eat us." This is learned helplessness. Modern humans say this too. The system is like this. It won't change. I have no chance. The rabbit represents willful action. He says, no, if there is a mind, there is always a way out. Fate is not what happens to you. It is how you react to what happens to you. So, how do we carry this story into today? First, do not starve the lion inside, but manage it. Your ego, the lion, will continue to exist. You cannot destroy it, but you can manage it with the cunning of a rabbit. When your ego says attack, pause for a moment. Who is this anger directed at? At the person in front of me, or at my reflection in the mirror? Second, the courage to look into the well. The well is your subconscious. Do not be afraid to look there. Make a list of the things that bother you and others. Then ask honestly, how many of these traits do I have? When you recognize your own reflection, you no longer have to fight it, to jump into the well. You accept it and heal it. Third, drop the victim role. Be the rabbit. Do not be the deer waiting for the lion to eat me. Stop blaming the system, the difficulties, your boss, the economy. Use your mind. Develop a strategy. The greatest power is not in the muscle, but in the gray matter between those two ears. My dear friend, while the lion fights forever with his own reflection at the bottom of the well, the rabbit returned home freely. Which one are you? The lion still fighting ghosts in the mirror? Or the rabbit who uses his mind and becomes free? Most of the enemies in your life are just shadows reflected on the walls of your mind. When you turn on the light, you will see the monsters disappear. Do not jump into that well. Just look, smile, and continue on your way. This was just the first step towards mental freedom. We defeated the enemy in the mirror, but how will we soothe that endless hunger inside us? In the next step, we will deepen the wisdom of that rabbit and talk about the secrets of desire and satisfaction. If you are ready to awaken that strategic intelligence, that wise rabbit inside you, join the Metaphor Mindset family. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave a comment below. What is that imaginary lion you are fighting in your life? Share this video with your loved ones who are fighting with their own shadows. Do not be afraid to look in the mirror, but do not fight with the reflection. Goodbye.